Hey, welcome back to Two Super Guys Trade Stocks. I am Dylan.
And I'm Vinny.
And I know Oxy is the next Apple. Insane statement to make. And why is Warren Buffett and Michael Burry on the front? I don't know, right? I just put them there. No, they're there for a reason. I'm going to tell you why I am adding Oxy to my long-term portfolio and why I think at least Vinny should too, and maybe you. It is a Hail Mary, but man, it could pay off. All right, let's get into it.
Two stupid guys trade stocks.
All right, are you familiar with Oxy?
A little bit, like I know that he's been buying it. And I know it's a petroleum company, but I don't really know like their financials or like where they differentiate the market share, that sort of stuff. I honestly don't know.
Yeah, all right. Here's what we're going to do, okay? I'm going to explain why Buffett, he's more obvious as to why he's on here than Burry. Burry's on here for a reason. Um, I'm not going to get too much into the financials of Oxy. I'm going to get into more the potential and what's already been approved by Congress, that kind of stuff. If there is enough people, because I'm already going to buy 200 shares. I'm already in, okay? I'm solid. But if there are people that are interested after this, Vinny will do a deep dive doing his old, money thing, and we will see how it goes. Now, why am I talking about Oxy? Oil's dead, right? Oil companies are over.
It's what's heating my house right now, so I don't know about that, but sure.
Exactly. So, obviously, everyone knows this. This is not new. Buffett bought over almost up to 20% of Oxy. Okay, his closing price of 61.41 on the last purchase. He owns a butt ton. Let's just go with that. You don't even have to know what's happening. Okay, a butt ton. That's an actual mathematical measurement.
Yeah,
Do you know what
it's a
this
big number.
is?
No, it's a bunch of pipes. Looks very shiny.
Okay.
Looks like it'd be fun to play with.
So this giant place takes carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. Okay? So
Okay.
the entire green movement is essentially using less oil and then creating less CO2 in the atmosphere and using more electric battery. Here's the problem. It's expensive as hell to do batteries for everything. Okay? Now, the carbon capture project, the US Department of Energy agreed to commit 3.7 billion to finance projects to remove carbon. So it's a different method. It's a different method of going green. Not
Yeah.
solar, not wind, not battery, but taking the actual problem and putting it somewhere else. Okay? It was funded, I know. It was funded by bipartisan infrastructure law. The per ton credit of you doing this for each ton of carbon dioxide removed went from $180 instead of 50. That's a massive, massive increase. Okay? There is no large scale projects that exist. Oxy proposed a $1.1 billion large scale direct air capture plant. Okay? And then when he did that, Buffett's like, oh, I'm going to start buying some stuff. Okay? Here's the deal. People don't realize how expensive this is going to be. And also, Oxy's small, right? Compared to Chevron and Enron. So why aren't they hopping on this crap? Chevron, they are doing the more jack of all trades approach. They're trying to do gas fuels, biofuels, hydrogen, yada, yada, yada. And they want to grow their carbon capture business to 25 million tons per year. That's not a lot. Okay? Exxon, they are 30 years in. 30 years of the carbon capturing business. And they have captured 120 million metric tons.
Okay.
In 30 years. Oxy, their first plant is supposed to remove 100 million after it's completed in 2024 per year.
Okay.
100 million at 180 a share. It's not a ton, but it'll make a difference. However, real quick, here's our market caps. Oxy's way smaller. Are you doing math?
Yeah, I'm doing math in my head in case you couldn't tell.
So Oxy's 9 times smaller than Exxon, like 7 times smaller than Chevron.
I was trying to estimate the cash flow from doing the 100 million tons per
Don't,
year.
dude. We'll do the money stuff later.
Okay. Okay.
I appreciate the commitment. So here's the deal. They're going full hard. They're going everything in on this thing. All right. They want to have the first one operational by end of 2024. They want to have 100 more by 2035, up from 70 after they were approved. And they already have land for half them already secured. They already have 50 sites where they want to put this stuff up. Okay. One problem, they're doing this at a bad time. Because originally the amount was going to be 800 million to 1 billion, and it's now 1.1 billion just because of inflation.
For the facility itself.
Yeah, for the facility itself. Okay? Now, here's something that no one talks about, and frankly they should, because it's pretty messed up. Do you know what this is?
I don't know. Let's get a diamond mine or something. I don't know. Picturing that from a movie, Blood Diamond or something.
So, this is the Congo.
Okay.
All right?
Oh.
Now, what?
Are they mining like cobalt?
Yeah. So, here's the problem. Everyone is, like, just take cars, for instance. Everyone's going electric cars. Boom, boom, boom. We're going to save the environment. Yada, yada. Okay. One, it is incredibly expensive to make car batteries. That's why the majority of the price of an electric car is the battery itself. Okay? That's just cars. You cannot make an entire city run on a battery. At least not right now. I don't know what's going to happen in the future. Yeah. But it's not feasible. It's not absolutely feasible we're getting almost all of our cobalt for all the batteries that we're using from this one place, which they're not, as you can imagine, treating workers great, right?
No.
So you're kind of putting one evil for another evil. Okay.
There is literally no like shoring on the walls of those pits at all. Like that would not fly with OSHA regulations.
No, it's not good. It's pretty sad when you get into it. Mm-hmm. But the carbon capturing deal, it seems like a long shot because it's like, well, how are you going to capture carbon from the atmosphere? But it is another way of thinking that would buy us significantly more time while also making a shit ton of money for Oxy. Okay? Ooh, wrong thing.
Yeah,
sorry.
the problem with carbon capture, from my understanding, is that it's a very energy intensive process, right? Because it's an exothermic reaction when you release carbon dioxide to the atmosphere when you burn a fuel, but when you're trying to put it like into the ground, there is no chemical reaction there that will provide energy for it. So you have to provide the energy from an outside source, meaning electricity or some other fuel, to put that back in the ground.
Yeah. So you still have a net positive. That's correct. But you still have a net positive of capturing, especially when it went from 180. This was not super feasible at 50. But 180 tax credit, it's now you can make a bunch of money doing this. $50, the cost of energy, it's not awesome, right? Mm-hmm. Because your margins are now really crappy. But they increased it by over 3x, almost 4x. Yeah. So the total U.S. greenhouse gas emissions, these are everything that we use: agriculture, transportation, yada yada. Everyone's focused on cars right now. Okay, so cars are 27%. Of the 27%, 50 plus, we'll say 60, some of these are personal cars, are us driving cars. Okay?
Yeah.
So a lot of people think, oh, I'm going to save the world by driving a Prius. By the way, I drive an electric car. I'm not making fun of you. I like not having to pay gas. But I'm not an idiot. I know I'm not saving the environment by driving an electric car. Just to do some math. Okay, the typical passenger vehicle emits 4.6 metric tons of carbon. Okay, boom, not hard. 4% of the market is electric cars. So you subtract 4%, you're at 96% of vehicles are gas powered. You take that number, 289.5 million vehicles sold, times it by 0.96, and you times it by the amount of average metric tons that you get per car. Okay? That is 1,278,432,000 metric tons of CO2 emissions per year.
Yeah, yeah.
The first Oxy plant would remove 7.8% of that.
Wow.
That's disgusting.
Yeah, that is way more impactful and moving the needle on kind of eliminating carbon dioxide, not production, but, kind of the net carbon dioxide amount emitted, I guess, if you will. significantly more than like how many electric cars would you have to make to even come close to that? Be a
Well, the problem
huge
is the
number.
more electric cars you make, the worse conditions get in the Congo. It's not good.
Yeah.
It's a problem. And then people always talk about solar and wind. Here's the problem with solar and wind. One, we have a problem with storage. You, the sun's not always up, and the wind isn't always windy. Windy?
Blowing.
Blowing. There we go.
Blowing.
Windy. Another problem is like you look at a solar farm. If you look at how efficient they are, you would have to destroy almost an entire habitat going against everything that you're trying to be green just to have enough solar power on a grid for a small city, let alone, like I'm in Arizona, Phoenix. It's not possible. We'd have to, like, so much desert would have to be solar panels, and then those only last 10 years. There's so many issues with this thought. It doesn't, there's too many variables. This is one area that has yet to be explored yet. The big problem, which Vinny brought up, is the amount of energy, right?
Mm-hmm.
I won't get into fission reactors or nuclear reactors because I'm a proponent of that. That would solve the problem greatly. But
Yeah.
the tax credit, just the cash on top of that, it's making this look like a very solid play. And I also like to make money. So I was looking at Oxy's graph here. Can you see my mouse?
Yeah, I can see your mouse.
So this is a year. We're getting some humps. We're hanging around this 200 moving average. We still are not going above it, or we're a little bit below it. If this actually takes off, remember, this is only a 50 billion market cap. It's not like doubling this price is like doubling the price of Apple, where it's like $2 trillion. It's just 50 billion, right? It's not crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the best evidence for Oxy. This man is notoriously early, just on everything he does, right? Crazy early in the housing market. GameStop, everything. Okay, his TLT puts that I made a bunch of money off of. He exited so early, and I held on and paid off.
Yeah, you held way longer than he did. Yeah,
I held on for an extra year and got like a 70% return. This guy, in Q1 2021, bought a bunch of Oxy and then took a very small share at 26. It's already doubled, right? And in classic Burry fashion, I think it could double again, just if history repeats against Burry.
Okay.
And
You got me excited.
Little like and subscribe. If anyone's looking at this company, I didn't go into financials. I want to see if people are actually interested. It's kind of a weird area, right? Because we don't actually have an example of a large-scale project, let alone 100. So as more information comes out throughout 2023 and 2024, we'll have a better idea of is this feasible? And if it is feasible, they're going to have the biggest head start ever. Because, like I said, Enron's been at this for 30 years. Not Enron.
That was the best 40-inch slip I think I've heard in a while.
Exxon's been at it for 30 years, and they're at like 120. So it's not great,
All right. I like it. I'm gonna have to do some more research and some math on this sort of stuff. I'm kind of familiar with carbon capture a little bit and like the idea behind it, but I'm interested to see where the financials are, and then given this $180 credit per ton, and see what sort of cash flow that could generate for Oxy.
Yeah. Now you have to subtract energy, but I think it's interesting. All right, guys.
Yeah.
Let me know what you think.
Catch you in the next one. Yeah.